Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video we're going to talk about getting started with Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and today we're taking a look at the Kharadron Overlords, and in particular, the Barak Nar sub-faction. Now in this video we're going to go through talk about the special rule for Barak Nar that makes this sub-faction special, and then take a look at a couple of units we recommend to get started with for the sub-faction. We'll then take a look at some other units we can use to expand upon these initial purchases, and then finally finish off the video with a little sample 1000 point army list for you to use as some inspiration for starting your own Kharadron Overlords force of Barak Nar for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. And so, our special rule is Scholars and Commanders. At the start of your hero phase, you roll a dice for each friendly Barak Nar hero on the battlefield, including any that are embarked, and for each 4+, you receive an extra command point. So, you're going to get, at 1,000 points, if you have 3 heroes, you've got a 50% chance of at least getting 1, potentially even 2. You've got a pretty good chance, and you've even got a pretty good chance of getting 3 extra, which is pretty cool. Extra command points, always well welcome, and they can definitely do a lot with Kharadron Overlords because you've got some cool command abilities to use them with. Now, we're going to get started with Barak Nar, but of course with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Barak Nar, Lord Magnate of Barak Nar. Now, he has a 3+ save and 8 wounds. His Athematic Sword in combat is 4 attacks, 3 2, Ren 2, damage D3. And then he's got some decent shooting coming out of him as well, with the Magnate's Charter, 18-inch range, 6 attacks, 3 3s, Ren 1, damage 2. And Grungson's Boast, 18-inch, 1 attack, 3 2, Ren 2, damage D3 plus 3. He's literally got a cannon up there, which is just awesome. Now, on top of that, he's got the War Master ability, where while he's in Barak Nar, he's treated as your general, even if you've got another general on the battlefield. He's got Flight, because he has that giant balloon. As you can see, he's floating through the air. And then he's got some cool special rules. First of these, Mustas-mounted Aether Blasters. Each time this unit fires after all his attacks have been resolved, you pick an enemy unit within 3 inch, and on a 2+, the enemy unit will suffer D3 mortal wounds. Now, he's then got the first rule of Grungson, where if this unit makes a charge move in the same turn, you add 1 to the attacks characteristic of melee weapons made by friendly Barak Nar Skyfarer units that are wholly within 12 inch. And Commander of the Fleet is a command ability specific to him. You can pick up to 3 friendly Sky Vessels that are more than 3 inch from all enemy units, and they can receive the command. In that phase, you can reroll run rolls for those units that receive the command, and in addition, you can shoot and or charge after you've ran as well. Now, joining him, Barak Nar has another cool thing that it makes Grunstock Thunderers a battle line unit. Grunstock Thunderers have a decent amount of shooting coming out of them. They've got a variety of different weaponry. They can pack, some better shots like the Aether Cannon with 1 shot, 3s 2, Ren 2, damage 3, or Fumigators which have D6 auto-hitting shots. The Deck Sweeper with 5 shots each at Ren 1. They've got Aether Shot Rifle Standard, which are pretty nice. 18-inch range, 2 attacks, 3s, 4s, Ren 1, damage 1. And they've got the Drill Bill as well to do some mortal wound in combat potential as well. Suppressing Fire is also a really nice rule for the unit, where they potentially can make enemy units -1 to hit after they've shot at them as well. Now, looking at some other units we can bring in, Arcanaut Company are a really good unit. I do like them. 4+ save, 1 wound each. They're at that nice 1 wound, 4-10 point sort of level. They've got a variety of different shooting weapons. They can be pretty cheap for 10 bodies. Like I said, 100 points. Glory Seekers mean they actually can add 1 to their hit rolls when they're targeting an enemy unit that's contesting an objective, so long as they're not embarked. They just can be, another unit on the table, holding back for the objectives, not having to move too much, pretty survivable all in all, and just, a solid unit to have. Now, the Aether Chemist is another unit I really like, especially when you're maybe running something more combat orientated, which Brock definitely leans towards. The Aether Chemist has, for me, one really cool ability that I like using him for, and that is his Atmospheric Isolation. This is great for combat. So, you subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made by enemy models while they're within 3 inch of any friendly units with this rule while they're not embarked. Obviously, you can put these models on a frigate and use the Assault Vehicle rule, where they just charge in, disembark, and put in behind your lines and put out that -1 to hit is really nice. It's a good defensive piece. But also, at the start of the shooting phase, if this unit's not embarked, so if you're playing and you're already disembarked, so you're stuck in combat for a round, but you get the turn after you've charged, maybe you're on a double, he can also give a bonus of +1 rend to a unit while he's not embarked. Now, of course, we can't take Brock, I don't think, without including a frigate. The frigates just go hand in hand. They're really, really solid in the new book. You've got a 3-up save, 15 wounds. You've got the ramming dice. We've got a bunch of mortal wounds you can do on the charge. Your assault boat also lets you disembark all the units inside when it charges, after the ship charges. And they'll get the always strikes first rule as well, which is just super, super awesome. To bring to the table. It counts as 5 models on an objective, helping with controlling objectives, which is something you'll really struggle with Kharadron Overlords, and got some decent shooting to boot. Now, the last unit I want to talk about is another Barak Nar special character, and that is the warband, or the Underworld's warbands of Thundrik's Profiteers. Now, Bjorgen Thundrik, he doesn't have the same rule as the Chemist, so he's actually got a different rule where once per turn, he can issue a command to Thundrik's Profiteers without a command point being spent, which is really cool. But once per battle, at the start of the combat phase, you can say this unit will release toxic gases. If you do so, for each enemy unit within 6 inch, roll a number of dice equal to the number of models in that unit that are within 6 inch of him. And for each 5+, the enemy unit suffers a mortal wound. This can be really great, jumping out of an assault vehicle. And potentially getting always strikes first on him when you do so. Really, really solid. Can do a ton of mortal wounds into an enemy horde. Now, he also does have, obviously, Thundrik's Profiteers that come along with him. While this unit's hull within 3 inch of Bjorgen Thundrik, he'll get a ward save of 4+, which is really cool. And you've also got Catherine Draxure, who's going to have a wounds characteristic of 3 and can fly. He's got a Skypike there, 3 attacks, 3 threes, run 1, damage 2. And then you've got a bunch of other shooting attacks in there. You've got the automatic volley gun as well for the unit as well, which is pretty cool. So a nice, decent little shooting piece coming in. All those mortal wounds coming out of Bjorgen Thundrik. I think he's a really solid piece to take in a Barak Nar force. One of the better Underworld warbands in the game. Alright, and so here we have our sample army list. Kharadron Overlords, Barak Nar in the realm of Gur, like you would expect. Now, talk about our triumph quickly as well, because we're only 5 points under. Not an awful lot of chance we're going to get it unless our opponent is playing a perfect 1,000, but +1 wound is nice on Kharadron Overlords. Grand strategy is guided by the code. This is a really solid grand strategy. The Kharadron Overlords have a bunch of easy to complete battle tactics. So if we complete at least 4, and all the battle tactics that we complete during the game are from that list, which is the most important part, remembering all must be from that list to complete, means we will complete this. Kharadron code-wise, we've gone Master of the Skies for that +2 move. Persecute Wars with all haste once per turn, give a unit 2d6 run. And then the footnote, there's no trading with some people, means when one of our Skyfarers units is shot once per game, they can shoot back in the enemy shooting phase. Aether Chemist will be our general, and he's got a Scholar and Archnaut as the command trait. Without our ships, we are naught, is the extra footnote we've chosen. What this one does is, once per game, one of our airships can take 2 commands in the same phase instead of just 1. Now, worth noting, remembering, yes, he's the general, but Brock Grunsung, Lord Magnate of Barak Nar, is a War Master inside Barak Nar, so he will also be our general. So there's no reason to not make the Aether Chemist the general. And then we've got the Celestium Burst Grenade, where once per battle at the start of our shooting phase, you can pick an enemy unit within 12 inches of the barrel and roll a dice. On a 2+, ward rolls can't be made for models in that unit that phase. Pretty cool being able to turn off wards. Then we've got Aspect of Champion, Stubborn as a Rhinox, counters 10 models on objectives. Why would you not in an army that struggles for objective control? Brock Grunson, Lord Magnate of Barak Nar, and Bjorgen Thundrik rounding out our leaders. Battleline wise, we've got 10 Archnaut Company and 5 Grunstock Thunderers. These are, as I mentioned, a battleline inside Barak Nar. And then we have Thundrik's Profiteers rounding out our units. Now we have an Archnaut frigate with the heavy sky cannon, and we've also gone the Great Endron Works Prudency Shoots. This just means that the ship's taken down in combat and we're not out of it. We can disembark the units within 3 inches of enemies. Really, really important. I almost would always take this on your main airship. And then we've got a Battle Regiment, putting everything into a 1-drop force. 61 wounds on the table, no reinforced units or allies. I mean, this is a pretty fun Kharadron Overlords list. It's not every day you get to use the Underworld's warbands, or indeed a character like Brock Grunson, together, and they really do make for a nice little combo. So what I would be doing is putting Brock, Bjorgen, the Aether Chemist, the Grunstock Thunderers, and Thundrik's Profiteers as our 12 models inside that airship, and charging them forward. Meanwhile, having that nice little unit of Archnaut Company manning the backfield for us. Well, that's the end of the video. We hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And also drop a comment down below letting us know what you enjoyed about the video. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our little community here at Sinful Gaming, we have a Discord server which is linked down in the video's description. Also linked down in the video's description are the best ways to help support the channel, either by Patreon, YouTube members, or by grabbing yourself some merch from either our Ko-fi or Teespring stores. All of those things are linked down in the video's description. As a special thank you to everyone who does support us via Patreon and YouTube members, we'd like to give you all a shout out. So thank you to our Patreons, Christian Weir, Soren, Kenny Lowe, Outer and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, The Rising 8, Pure Dynamic, Anthony B, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Benjamin Swallows, Red Martin, Iron Grinch, Nicholas Conomos, Colorblind Magic, Daniel Everington, and Andy C. And to our YouTube members, Green Roots Gaming, Ronya, Lock Lorick, The Johnny 84, David Ellsworth, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Revenar, Pink Nico Fire, Robin Mankiller, Monty Stabletop Terrain, John Castle, Davis Weir, James South, James Tillman, Dylan Marino, Gargamel 196, and Disco. Thank you all so much for your support, and special shout out to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork for the channel, and to everyone who helps run the channel, whether that be on the Discord server as our mods, on our live stream mods, or the guys that come around and help provide the battle reports for you all to watch. Thank you all once again, everyone. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.